Okay, what basically this is obviously a compass, and Lauren checked it out. There's no magnet or anything of the like on there. And what I'm actually doing right now is touching it to imprint myself in there, and necessary for it to do what it's doing right now. Normally a compass points north and south, as we're aware. It should do that. I was asked by my attorney, does it do the global GPS? I said, I don't know. I've not tried it yet. But this was part of the experiment, and with maybe a little bit of focus, I can get it to do a little bit more. Now, when I really get it going, it goes round and round, 360, 180, 360, 180, just as it's beginning to do now. What the point of this was for the psychokinetic researcher in this particular case, which I'm not sure I should name, the point was to understand what psychic phenomena is in kind of in a capsule, that it can accomplish what seems to be impossible. Gravity is one of the strongest forces of the universe, so to speak. So if one can interrupt that and interfere, I'm just wondering if it's not level, because it's moving and then it doesn't move. You still got it on camera?
Yep.
That if you can interrupt the strongest forces of nature, which is gravity, our planet is held into the solar system around the sun. And thank goodness it is because of gravity. We have our life because of gravity. We're able to sit here and not float up into space. If one can deviate that and change it at will, what is the strongest force? Is it not will? Is it not the spirit? Is it not the consciousness itself, or what people will call the soul? To me, it is the strongest force in the universe, and nothing can impede that. That was my point in this study. And it took a little training, understanding what I needed to do to focus on it and change it, and then the rest happened. Again, in my case, much of what I am already aware of since childhood is that this is not impossible to do. It is, in fact, part of the universe.
Just for the camera, can you point where north is, where it should be, where it should be pointing?
It should be pointing right here. That's where north is. Right now, we probably are positioned what would be east and west. Okay, now what I'm trying to do is get it to just keep going. Apparently I can't do two things at once today.
If you want to concentrate on that.
Okay. That's all you're going to do for me today, are you? Okay, it just has a little slight, almost like a ticking going back and forth. So slight that I can barely even see it. Okay, well, it's obviously not even supposed to do that, so the point should be made.
Yeah, I can see it. Did you pick it up right with the camera?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. We could just say, yeah, your name again and where you're from and what you do and the people who you work for generally.
Okay. Marisa Anderson. I happen to be a psychic consultant. That's what's on my business card. And generally speaking, I do all sorts of cases. It may be a homicide case. It might be a ransom abduction that will be taking place when I'm in the middle of making dinner, and I'll get a call from the CID. It might take days. It might take that evening, but that's usually what I do 24/7. So I have 6 phone lines at home for a good reason. Each of them is identifiable for one thing. One is I call a federal line or a law enforcement line, and one is a business line. Actually, 2 are business lines. One is personal, one is fax, one is computer. So this is the odd thing that I do, which I happen to think that I'm abnormal, but scientists will call it paranormal. And whether it's in research or on a case, again, some of my work has been just as different from one thing to another. A coal file case, an archaeological dig, an engineering report, couple with, in fact, for private sessions, someone wanted to know, her and her husband, if they would actually be able to buy a building in the city for their new business. It was time they left their other building, and I zoned in on the address of the new building that they were yet to get. And I can make all of that information accountable. I'm not afraid to give their number out and have myself checked out. I indicated to them they would have a major leak that would go from the top all the way down to the basement on, I think, the west corner of the building. So I precisely slated it would be off of 5th Avenue, the corner of whatever the address was that I gave out. So this happened within about 2-month period. I said that they would find that building. The owner would say yes to the purchase, then he would say no, and then he would say yes again. And that's exactly what happened. So I also work with attorneys on trial cases. I'll work with doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, other doctors, physicists, astrophysicists, people that have been involved in energy research, energy healing, a physicist that was involved in the energy of a basically kind of a Tesla unit, updated in a number of ways, to tell him what I felt in the energy of the unit. He was actually surprised when I found there was a plus minus in the energy, because I could pick that up. And then he was aware of what else was part of that machine yet to be. I told him how it would change, how he would engineer it later. I work with companies the same way. I tell them what their products are going to be. I assess yet to be. I've done it with IBM. I told them how many people they would be firing and what they would be into in years yet to come. I also assess Wall Street companies. Since, as I told you, I assess world events, some of those brokerage firms are very comfortable, let me put it in that way, knowing the events yet to be, because they have an uptake on the market. What's going to be good, what's going to be down. And again, I'm paid for that. I'm booked a whole day. I spread out maps all over the floor, and I indicate what's going to be taking place worldwide, whether it's an assassination or an attempt or a coup or a terrorist attack. And I've done that on radio, giving predictions at the beginning of the year, as I did last year and this year. Last year I indicated Mount St. Helens, as I did again this year, because it exploded twice. I indicated sinkholes at the beginning of the year in Florida, which were many in February, and I did that in January on radio. I indicated the huge mudslide that would occur in California that was more so than normal, and that did occur in February. I indicated a train accident. I indicated an avalanche. I think it was in Switzerland. All of this was corroborated later as events took place. So again, that's kind of more or less what I do. A friend of mine calls me the Renaissance psychic, because I've worked just about every area of everything and seem to wish to evolve, so I learn better about what I do and what I can do.
Great, that was perfect.